I get my energy from my energy. I be in outer space, but I got inner peace.
Hi, this is Shannon Evette, and today we are talking about the pause is holy. When we slow down, we get there faster. And that's an Alan Cohen quote. When you slow down, you get there faster. You know, we receive in stillness. I love the quote by Mother Teresa that says, God is a friend of silence and stillness and solitude. We live in a very busy world that is driven to distraction. And yet it is in the quietness of our souls that God whispers. Distractions are loud, but the calling is a whisper. And so many of us are running around trying to figure out, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And what the Buddhists call the monkey mind. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And have you ever noticed that when you are doing something repetitive or calm, like washing your dishes or taking a shower or watering your lawn, that's when you receive what one of my teaching partners calls your divine download. And so when we tune out the noise, when we turn off all of our notifications that are going off, 500 times a day, breaking our attention, breaking our focus, and we go within in a place of stillness, we can get there quicker. I'm always amazed when people say, I don't have time for a spiritual practice. I don't have time to sit with God, an hour a day. I don't have time. One moment in the presence of God, in the presence of your soul as a witness. One moment, one divine download, one revelation could advance your life by 10 years. One answer, one moment of clarity could save you 4, 5, 6 months of struggle. And so what we don't pay for on the front end, we pay for on the back end. That's what my accountant has always said. Either you pay on the front or you pay in the back. And usually if we pay on the back end, there are penalties. And so if we can get quiet and slow down, we can get there faster. One of the old spiritual professors, we called him professor at my old ministry, used to say, the devil rushes, God guides. The devil rushes, God guides. And patience is fear. It's fear that our needs aren't going to be met. It's fear that, God is going to forget about us and things won't be done. And yet truly, without patience, faith is just glorified frustration. Patience and faith have to work together. And sometimes when we haven't figured it out, when we feel doubt, when we feel, this vacillating back and forth, that means we should pause. Because delays, outward delays mean one thing. They mean that God is trying to get your attention on something that you've missed. So when we're trying to force our way, and when you're in force versus flow, I know when I'm in force versus flow. We know when we're trying to force something rather than flow with it. I'm gonna make it happen. The interesting thing about pausing and approaching things from a flow rather than force is that everything is about timing anyway. We don't want anything outside of the time. For those of you who are raising children, you know what it's like around the holidays when your kids are like, is it Christmas? We can't wait for Christmas. We can't wait for Christmas. And yet there's a pause because things are being prepared for them. And so a lot of times we think that delay means denial. Delay does not mean denial. It means something needs our attention. So when you pause, you take a holy breath and you say, you know what? I want to be in alignment, not in force. I want to make sure that I'm doing things that are in time and in season, not because I'm anxious, not because I'm fearful, not because I think I'm going to be forgotten about or I think I'm going to miss out. We have this fear, this FOMO, this fear of missing out. But if it's yours, what can happen to derail your destiny? If it's truly aligned with your purpose and your calling that was predetermined before you ever came to this earth, then what can take it from you? And so when we get impatient, we find that the shortcut is the long way. But when we pause, we can let it come to us. You know, so many of us, and I can testify to this about 57 times, so many of us will wear ourselves out to the point of exhaustion, chasing something that in the right season would come with effortlessness. You know, scripture says, surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. Unworthiness will cause us to chase things that would harm our soul if we ever receive them. And so the beauty of this season of pausing is that you're slowing down to receive your divine instruction. You're slowing down to receive your divine downloads and marching orders. You're slowing down and you're trusting the process, not just the promise. You see, so many people want the product. They want the end product, but they don't understand that life is a process, even to get to that end product. Coach Vince Lombardi said that many years ago when he coached his players, you know, and I love him. I love the minds of coaches. But he said when he would coach his players and they were all like, ooh, it's all about the touchdown. It's all about the touchdown. He would say, no, it's about the process. And if you don't fall in love with the process, you might as well get off the field, because the process is 90% of it. 90% of life is preparation and process. You know, there are golden moments where we get the touchdown. There are golden moments where we stand on the big platform. Those are those golden moments, and yet everything else is that private process behind the scenes. Patience is a place. It's a place of rest. It's a place of trusting that, yes, all things are working together for my good because I'm called according to God's purpose. And I know that purpose is a season, and purpose is a time, and purpose is an alignment. And so I can rest in knowing that I'm not going to miss anything that's mine. And yet if I rush and I force it, I only wear myself out. I only prolong the journey anyway. You know, we all grew up with the story of the rabbit and the tortoise. You know, and we know that in the beginning we thought the rabbit would beat the tortoise, that we thought the rabbit would beat the turtle. And yet there's a steadiness to faith. There's a steadiness to purpose. And so being impatient is a mark that we need more self-love. Because the first thing that love is its patience. And so no matter how slow you're moving, even if you're moving as slow as that turtle, if you are making one step each day towards demonstrating what you believe in, if you are making one small move each day that pushes the needle forward, you will look up one day and be there. And yet when we take time to pause, when we take time to gather our souls and heal, when we take time to be still and get in silence and in solitude and in reverence for God's process, then we get there a whole lot faster. One moment of pausing to make sure we're in alignment with the flow is worth 8 years of hustling. I've always said that, you know, grace and favor outweigh the hustle any day. And there's nothing wrong with hustling. And yet there's a beauty to the flow of God. There's an ease and an effortlessness to being in season. And so when we slow down, we get there faster. So before you send that text, before you make that phone call, before you make that next move, sometimes the appropriate thing to do is to sleep on it, is to pause, is to say, wait, it's not clear yet. Let me wait. Patience reveals truth. Patience reveals truth. The devil rushes, God guides. The pause is holy. Take time to rest in your heart so that God can reveal the process and the promise to you. Because when we slow down, we get there faster.